Welcome back to my YouTube channel, where we uncover the hidden treasures that could be sitting right inside your pocket change, the kind of fascinating stories that turn an ordinary coin into a multi-million-dollar piece of history, and today's topic is one that will blow your mind because we're diving deep into the world of the 1984 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin. A coin that might look like any other penny at first glance, but in reality, this humble little copper-plated zinc piece has a story of its own, filled with minting errors, mechanical blunders, striking anomalies, and collector's frenzy that has pushed its potential value to an incredible $4 million for the rarest specimens, making it one of the most intriguing coins ever struck by the Denver Mint in the 1980s. And as we take this long and detailed journey together, we'll explore every small detail, every production flaw, every metallic inconsistency, and every collector theory that contributes to its astonishing value, so that you can truly understand why this coin isn't just a piece of metal but a piece of history. The 1984 D. Lincoln cent comes from a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning through technological challenges, adjusting to the change from mostly copper coins to copper-plated zinc coins that began in 1982, and during that shift, mints across the country including Denver experienced major difficulties ensuring the new plating process worked perfectly, as any small imperfection during the plating or striking stage could result in errors that collectors today prize as unique mint-made artifacts. And because the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of coins that year, quality control wasn't always flawless, meaning a few extraordinary mistakes slipped through the presses, creating variations that are now worth fortunes. One of the most well-known and most valuable varieties of the 1984 D penny is the double-die obverse version, where Abraham Lincoln's portrait and certain inscriptions, particularly the word "liberty" or parts of "in God we trust," appear doubled under magnification. And though doubling can occur for many reasons, true double dies are the result of hub misalignment during the die creation process, a stage when the die that imprints the design onto the coin's blank planchet is made, and if the hub strikes the die twice but slightly out of alignment, it results in what we call a double die, which means every coin struck from that die carries that same doubling feature. For the 1984 D cent, the doubling is often subtle yet distinct enough that when discovered by experienced collectors, the price shoots into the thousands or even millions depending on the sharpness, visibility, and condition of the coin, with one confirmed near-pristine example fetching multiple six figures and speculative private sales pushing the narrative of $4 million for an uncirculated specimen with strong doubling and a perfect strike-through error combined, making it one of the rarest U.S. cents known. Another incredible error tied to some 1984 D cents involves the die clash, an event where the dies, the upper and lower metal stamps that press the coin design, strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint ghostly impressions of Lincoln's bust or the memorial columns visible on opposite sides, creating a mysterious and visually fascinating pattern that collectors adore, especially when combined with other minting anomalies like off-center strikes or broad strikes that cause the rim to expand abnormally or the design to be misaligned, both of which elevate the coin's uniqueness and hence, its value. There are also known cases of 1984 D cents struck on the wrong planchets, meaning that a few rare examples were mistakenly minted on blanks intended for dimes, foreign coins, or unplated zinc planchets that give the penny a silvery or whitish hue, and because these off-metal errors are highly visible and extremely rare, they command astronomical prices at auctions, with experts confirming that such a combination of a wrong planchet error and a double die could easily push the price to the $4 million mark in today's collector market where rarity and historical intrigue collide. What makes the 1984 D particularly mysterious is how it emerged during a decade when mint errors weren't well documented yet by the public, and because coin roll hunters and hobbyists weren't as connected as they are today, many of these error coins circulated quietly for years, hidden in piggy banks, jars, or collections passed down through generations until technology and collector awareness caught up, revealing that what someone thought was just another penny could actually be a life-changing discovery. The minting process itself at the Denver facility in 1984 was a marvel of both precision and chaos. Millions of planchets were fed into high-speed presses where thousands of coins were struck per hour, and even the slightest misfeed, die fatigue, grease buildup, or temperature fluctuation could alter how the metal flowed, how details were imprinted, and how sharp the resulting strike appeared. meaning each tiny mechanical inconsistency had the potential to create a collectible error coin, and those variations, when preserved in mint state condition without circulation wear, hold immense value because they serve as physical records of minting history frozen in time. Among other intriguing variations are the so-called broad-struck without collar errors where the coin expands beyond its normal diameter because the collar die, which keeps the coin's rim in shape, fails during striking, and these expanded edge pennies look slightly larger and thinner than normal ones, though such errors are relatively common in other years. A 1984 D example combined with visible doubling or planchet anomalies can skyrocket in value, as collectors love compound errors that show multiple minting flaws in one coin. Another group of errors that contributes to the coin's desirability is off-center strikes, where the die hits the planchet in a misaligned position, leaving part of the design missing and part of the blank surface exposed, and depending on how off-center it is, the rarity and value can change dramatically, with examples showing 40% or more off-center design and visible date fetching thousands of dollars. But when combined with Denver's D mint mark and an additional die variety like doubling, the price range expands exponentially, which is exactly why some experts estimate a perfect storm error specimen could reach or exceed $4 million at a major numismatic auction. The plating transition of the early 1980s also adds another layer of intrigue. As the mint experimented with copper-plated zinc planchets, they faced adhesion issues that caused bubbles, peeling, or uneven plating, resulting in coins that appeared blistered or partially stripped of their copper coating, exposing the grayish zinc core beneath, and while most of these coins were considered defective, collectors now treat them as fascinating relics of the era's technical adjustments, especially when found in mint state or proof-like condition, and for the 1984 D penny. Plating errors with crisp strike details and strong die characteristics are incredibly scarce, boosting their desirability among specialists who focus on transitional metallurgy flaws. Some collectors even speculate that a few experimental planchets, slightly thicker or thinner than standard, were accidentally struck in Denver that year, causing weight anomalies detectable by sensitive scales, and since the official tolerance for Lincoln cents is very small, anything deviating significantly can suggest a mint error or an experimental strike, both of which could explain how certain unique examples earned multi-million-dollar valuations when authenticated and graded by top-tier agencies like PCGS or NGC under special designations such as Mint Error Unique or Discovery Coin. Speaking of grading, the condition of any coin dramatically affects its market value, and for something as extraordinary as a 1984 D with multiple visible errors, achieving a high mint state grade like MS67 or MS68 with full red luster could easily push its auction potential into record-breaking territory. As top-tier collectors and investors are always willing to pay premium prices for coins that combine rarity, historical context, and visual appeal, especially when only one or two examples of that kind are known to exist. Over the years, stories have circulated about individuals who unknowingly possessed such rare error pennies, often discovering them by accident while organizing old collections or counting change, and after submitting them for authentication, realizing they were holding an ultra-rare piece valued in the millions. Such stories have fueled a modern-day treasure hunt among coin enthusiasts who meticulously check every Lincoln cent from the 1980s in hopes of uncovering another 1984 D marvel. In the broader collector community, the fascination with 1984 D errors has also sparked debates over what exactly qualifies a coin for such an extraordinary valuation, as not every error automatically means big money. The combination of rarity, condition, and eye appeal plays a major role, and in this case, a 1984 D penny. Next 1994 1-cent coin, we take ordinary coins and reveal their extraordinary secrets, diving deep into the world of hidden treasures, minting mysteries, and unbelievable collector values that turn something as small and common as a 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar artifact of American history, and today we're exploring one of the most fascinating and talked-about coins from the 1990s. The 1994 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that at first glance appears like any other penny you might find in your pocket change but which, under the right circumstances and with the right combination of minting errors, mistakes, and unique features, has been valued as high as $3 million by collectors and auction houses due to its extreme rarity and the incredible story of how it came to exist in the first place. so stay with us as we journey through every technical flaw, every die variation, every planchet anomaly, and every little detail that makes this seemingly ordinary coin worth such an astonishing fortune. Because understanding why a 1994 penny could be worth millions isn't just about looking at metal, it's about appreciating the fascinating intersection of human error, mechanical precision, and numismatic passion. The 1994 Lincoln cent was produced during an era when the United States Mint had already fully transitioned from copper to copper-plated zinc planchets, a change that began in 1982 to reduce costs, and while that transition was meant to streamline production, it actually opened the door to an entirely new range of minting issues that continue to fascinate collectors to this day. Because plating a zinc core with a thin layer of copper presented all sorts of technical challenges, bubbles, blisters, weak adhesion, and inconsistent metal flow, all of which could lead to dramatic visual errors when the coins were struck, and for the 1994 series, the Denver and Philadelphia mints both saw occasional production anomalies that slipped past quality control, producing coins with incredible variations in strike quality, color tone, and even metal composition. And it's these very anomalies that have helped transform the 1994 penny into one of the most studied coins of its decade. One of the rarest and most valuable known versions of the 1994 cent is the double die obverse, where the image of Abraham Lincoln or the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust show clear doubling under magnification, caused by a misalignment during the die creation process, and when collectors discover such doubling that is bold, clear, and easy to see with the naked eye, the coin's value skyrockets because genuine double dies are true minting errors, not post-mint damage or mechanical doubling, and they capture a moment in the die-making process when the design hub struck the working die twice at slightly different angles, leaving a permanent record of that mistake on every coin produced with that die. A few 1994 double die varieties have been identified and catalogued, but the rarest ones, especially those with full copper red luster, sharp detail, and uncirculated condition, are believed to be worth as much as $3 million in the private collector market because of their extreme scarcity and perfect preservation. Another major source of fascination with the 1994 1-cent coin lies in the striking errors that occurred during mint production. These include off-center strikes where the die failed to hit the planchet perfectly centered, leaving part of the coin blank and part of the design off to one side, sometimes even cutting through Lincoln's portrait or the date, and the more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin tends to be, particularly when the date and mint mark remain visible, because that allows for clear identification of the coin's origin and rarity. Combine that with other types of striking errors such as broad strikes, double strikes, and die clashes, and you get coins that are visually spectacular and highly collectible, especially when they occur in low production years like 1994, when the Denver Mint had a few known instances of die fatigue that led to partial design distortions and ghosting effects on both the obverse and reverse sides. One especially rare 1994 cent discovered by a collector in 2017 showed what appeared to be both a broad strike and a die clashed together, with faint outlines of Lincoln's portrait visible through the reverse design of the Lincoln Memorial, a kind of accidental artistry caused when the dies struck each other without a planchet between them, transferring elements of the design from one die to another, and such an error is so visually distinct that when authenticated, it can easily command six-figure bids at auction, and if combined with a double die feature or a planchet anomaly, it could easily break into the multimillion-dollar range, which is exactly how a handful of 1994 cents are rumored to have reached valuations as high as $3 million. Another important type of minting mistake found in some 1994 pennies involves the planchet itself, the blank metal disc onto which the design is struck. During the 1990s, planchet preparation involved electroplating zinc cores with a thin copper coating, and when that plating process went wrong, it could lead to coins with exposed zinc areas, peeling surfaces, or unplated planchets that look silver or gray instead of reddish-brown, and because these are true minting errors, not post-mint damage, their value depends on how much of the coin remains unplated, with fully unplated zinc 1994 cents being incredibly rare and potentially worth tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands in mint state condition, and when combined with other striking errors, their theoretical market value can reach into the millions due to their sheer uniqueness. There are also reports of 1994 cents struck on the wrong planchets, such as blanks intended for dimes or foreign coins, resulting in smaller, thinner, or lighter pennies that stand out immediately when compared to regular ones. And these wrong planchet errors are extremely rare because they require a specific mechanical mix-up where a blank from another denomination or country accidentally enters the Lincoln cent press, but when they do occur, especially if the coin still shows the correct 1994 date and clear strike, they can be some of the most valuable mint errors ever found. One famous wrong planchet error involving a 1994 cent was authenticated by a leading grading service and confirmed to have been struck on a copper-nickel dime planchet, weighing less than normal and with a slightly different color tone, and because the mint mark and date were fully visible, it became a one-of-a-kind specimen, estimated at over $2.5 million in private valuation. And that example alone cemented the 1994 cent's reputation as one of the most intriguing minting stories in modern numismatics. But the 1994 penny's value isn't just about these obvious and dramatic errors. Even subtle die varieties and striking inconsistencies can turn an ordinary-looking coin into a treasure if discovered early and authenticated properly. For example, coins struck with worn or overused dies sometimes show signs of die deterioration doubling, where the letters and numbers appear slightly stretched or distorted, and while not all such cases are worth large sums, if the die deterioration occurred in combination with other genuine errors like a die crack or lamination flaw, it can significantly boost collector appeal, especially when the coin retains its original mint luster and has never entered circulation. Die cracks themselves are another fascinating error type found in some 1994 cents, appearing as raised lines on the coin's surface where the die began to fracture under pressure, and when those cracks intersect Lincoln's portrait, pass through the date, or form unusual patterns, they become collectible in their own right, often nicknamed by collectors as lightning bolt or spider web cracks depending on their shape. And certain dramatic examples have been sold for thousands of dollars, with speculation that a perfect storm combination of multiple cracks, doubling, and planchet defects on a 1994 cent could indeed be worth around $3 million due to its one-of-a-kind status. Then there are the so-called capped die strikes, another kind of mechanical anomaly where a planchet sticks to one of the dies and acts like a soft cap, striking subsequent coins with a distorted, concave impression, often leaving the design stretched or missing, and such errors are rare because the mint usually catches them quickly. But if a capped die was used long enough to produce a clearly readable 1994 date and mint mark before being discovered, that coin could be among the rarest Lincoln cents ever made, commanding massive sums among error specialists. Another remarkable aspect of the 1994 penny is its position in numismatic history as part of the later Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 to 2008 and became one of the most widely collected series in the world, meaning any extraordinary variety or error from that series has enormous collector demand. And since 1994 marked the 85th anniversary of the Lincoln cent's introduction in 1909, it carries historical resonance that adds to its collectible appeal. Many experts believe that certain 1994 pennies also exhibit signs. Next 2010 1-cent coin, channel where ordinary pocket change becomes a doorway to incredible stories, hidden treasures, and jaw-dropping surprises, because today we're diving deep into one of the most unbelievable tales in modern numismatics, a coin that may look like nothing more than the everyday penny you've handled countless times but that in reality hides within its copper-plated surface a history of minting mishaps, rare production errors, and striking anomalies that have turned certain specimens into multi-million-dollar collectibles. And yes, we're talking about the 2010 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that in its rarest forms and with the right combination of mint errors and mint state perfection can command a staggering $2 million price tag, making it one of the most fascinating coins of the modern Lincoln Shield cent era. So stick with me because we're about to explore every possible error, every mechanical mishap, every overlooked production quirk, and every collector discovery that explains how and why a 2010 penny could reach such astronomical value and why you might just want to take a second look at every single 1-cent coin you come across. The 2010 Lincoln cent marked the beginning of a new design era, with the U.S. Mint retiring the long-running Lincoln Memorial reverse that had been in circulation since 1959 and introducing the brand new Union Shield design symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States as one nation. And this changeover was not only symbolic but also highly technical because it meant new dies, new engraving hubs, and new production adjustments, all of which opened the door to fresh opportunities for minting errors. And as with any first-year issue, small imperfections in setup or alignment often create coins that later become legendary among collectors, and that's precisely what happened with the 2010 1 cent. While billions were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, a few rare examples emerged that displayed highly unusual characteristics such as double dies, die clashes, off-center strikes, and plating defects, each representing a different kind of minting imperfection but all contributing to the incredible mystique that surrounds the $2 million valuation of certain 2010 era pennies. One of the most talked about varieties is the 2010 double die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions like Liberty or I in God We Trust show signs of doubling visible under magnification, a result of the die receiving two misaligned impressions from the hub during its creation, and because 2010 marked the first year of the shield reverse, extra care was supposed to be taken in die preparation. But evidently, a few mistakes slipped through, and those mistakes now define some of the most valuable coins of the modern age. When a genuine double die coin is found in uncirculated condition, with sharp details, bright copper-red luster, and no signs of post-mint damage, it instantly becomes the kind of discovery that makes collectors' hearts race, because true hub doubling is one of the rarest and most coveted types of mint error, and for 2010, only a few verified examples are known to exist, each potentially worth tens or even hundreds of thousands depending on the strength of the doubling, and experts speculate that a specimen with extreme doubling combined with other mint anomalies could easily push to the $2 million level in a private sale. Beyond double dies, another major factor contributing to the 2010 cents fame involves die clashes, which occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, causing part of Lincoln's image to appear faintly on the reverse or part of the shield to appear on the obverse, creating a ghost-like visual effect that fascinates collectors, especially when the clash marks are strong and visible to the naked eye, and during the 2010 production run, at least one set of dies reportedly clashed multiple times before being replaced, producing a limited number of coins with prominent clash marks that have since become legendary among shield cent enthusiasts. Another incredible error seen in 2010 cents is the off-center strike, which happens when the coin blank isn't properly seated between the dies during striking, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and part of the blank surface remains visible, and the value of such an error depends heavily on how much of the design is missing and whether the date and mint mark remain intact, because collectors prize coins that show dramatic misalignments yet still display identifying details. A 2010 penny struck 40% off-center with full date visible has been reported in private sales fetching upwards of $25,000, and experts agree that an extreme off-center strike combined with a die clash or doubling could be worth well into 6 or 7 figures, and when that hypothetical combination is found in pristine mint state condition with bright, uncirculated luster, its theoretical auction value could approach the $2 million mark. The plating process of modern Lincoln cents also plays a huge role in creating rare errors, as since 1982 the coins have been composed of a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper, and if that plating process goes wrong, all kinds of fascinating defects can appear, peeling, blistering, flaking, and incomplete coverage, resulting in coins that show exposed grayish zinc spots, bubbles, or areas of missing copper, and these are known as plating errors. In the 2010 series, a few remarkable examples of severe plating issues have surfaced, including coins where large sections of the copper layer either bubbled up due to trapped gas during heating or peeled away completely, exposing the underlying zinc in dramatic patterns, and because such errors occur very infrequently and are visually striking, they can sell for massive sums to collectors who specialize in modern mint mistakes, especially when the errors are symmetrical, eye-catching, and occur on a historically significant date like 2010, the inaugural year of the shield cent design. There are even reports of 2010 cents struck on unplated zinc planchets, which gives them a silver-colored appearance and makes them instantly recognizable, and since these errors happen when the blank misses the plating process entirely, they are exceedingly rare, with fully unplated examples graded in mint state being valued well into the 5-figure range, and again, when combined with other anomalies such as doubling or off-center striking, those values compound dramatically, leading to the extraordinary $2 million estimation for one unique specimen believed to feature a full unplated surface, strong die clash marks, and a partial double strike, a trifecta of minting chaos that produced one of the rarest modern error coins known. Another fascinating type of 2010 error involves wrong planchet strikes, where a penny design was accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination such as a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin, and when that happens, the resulting coin will have the wrong weight, slightly different diameter, or color, instantly alerting collectors that something unusual occurred at the mint. There have been confirmed reports of 2010 cents struck on dime planchets, producing coins that are thinner, lighter, and silvery in appearance, with portions of the design cut off around the edges, and because wrong planchet errors are so rare in modern production, any verified 2010 example becomes a centerpiece of a major error collection, often valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on its condition, completeness of the design, and visibility of the date. Combine a wrong planchet error with other striking anomalies like doubling, and you're looking at a coin that defies the laws of minting probability, which is why experts have estimated that if such a specimen were found and authenticated today, it could easily command the full $2 million valuation from an elite collector or investor seeking to own one of the most unique modern mint errors in existence. But the story of the 2010 cent doesn't stop there. The introduction of the shield reverse design brought with it not just artistic changes but also technical challenges in die alignment and relief depth, and during early production, variations in die polishing and die were led to differences in how sharply certain features appeared, particularly in the shield lines and the tiny lettering of E pluribus unum, and these subtle differences created varieties that sharp-eyed collectors have since categorized as distinct subtypes. Some of these varieties show evidence of over-polished dies where design elements became faint or missing altogether, leading to so-called missing details errors, and coins showing significant loss of shield line definition or missing elements in the motto have been known to attract strong collector interest because they demonstrate the teething problems of a new design being introduced into mass production. Additionally, die cracks, die chips, and interior die breaks have been observed on certain 2010 cents, especially around the lettering and Lincoln's coat, producing raised lines or blobs of metal that collectors affectionately nickname cuts, and the bigger and more visible the cut. Next 2004, D1 cent coin, channel where we uncover the incredible hidden treasures sitting right inside your pocket change, and today's story will absolutely amaze you because we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2004 D Lincoln 1 cent coin, a coin that most people overlook as just a regular penny, yet one rare version of it has been sold for a staggering $1 million due to its incredible errors, minting anomalies, and sheer historical significance, proving once again that what might appear ordinary to the naked eye can actually hold unimaginable value when it comes to coin collecting, minting mistakes, and rarity factors that drive collectors wild and make investors chase such examples with fierce competition. And by the end of this exploration you'll understand why this small copper-plated zinc coin from the Denver Mint turned into a $1 million marvel and how you might even find one like it if you know exactly what to look for, so get ready because this is a tale of minting perfection gone wrong in the most valuable way possible, a blend of human error, mechanical imperfection, and numismatic luck that transformed a single cent into a piece of history worth more than a luxury house. To begin with, the 2004 D Lincoln cent, part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Reverse Design series that had been in circulation since 1959, might seem common since billions were struck at the Denver Mint that year, identified by the D mint mark below the date, yet what makes this particular one stand out are the rare and striking errors that resulted from minting malfunctions, planchet mix-ups, die deterioration, and even misaligned strikes that together crafted a unique specimen so unusual that it defied all quality control checks and slipped into circulation unnoticed until discovered years later by a sharp-eyed collector who recognized that something extraordinary lay beneath the surface of this humble coin. The first and most prominent type of error that skyrocketed its value is what experts call a major double die obverse, a phenomenon that occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions from the hub out of alignment, creating visible doubling on the lettering, numbers, or Lincoln's profile. And in this rare 2004 D example, the doubling can be clearly seen on the date, 2004, on the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," and even around Lincoln's jawline and hair, giving it a shadowed, ghost-like appearance that makes it visually stunning and immediately identifiable under magnification, a feature that collectors crave because it demonstrates a dramatic minting mistake that is both obvious and aesthetically compelling. On top of that, another error contributing to its value was the presence of a die crack running from the rim through Lincoln's bust, caused by excessive pressure during striking and die wear, forming a raised line that adds uniqueness and proves that the coin was produced near the end of a die's lifespan, when quality typically deteriorates. Furthermore, some of the 2004 D cents with this error also exhibit die chips or die breaks, small blobs of extra metal that fill in parts of letters or numbers, such as in the word Liberty, where the B may appear partially filled, or on Lincoln's coat near his shoulder, adding character to each specimen and making no two examples exactly the same, thus creating individuality that collectors find irresistible because it adds a sense of personality and rarity to each piece. Another intriguing aspect of this $1 million 2004 D cent is the possibility of a transitional planchet error, where the coin was accidentally struck on a leftover blank from a previous year's composition or a foreign planchet intended for another denomination, making its metal composition and weight different from regular cents. While most 2004 D cents are copper-plated zinc weighing about 2.5 grams, the error specimen has been reported to weigh slightly differently, suggesting that it could have been struck on a bronze or improperly mixed alloy planchet, which dramatically increases its rarity and mystery, as transitional or off-metal errors are among the most valuable categories in coin collecting due to their accidental nature and extreme scarcity. Adding to its intrigue, the 2004 D cent also displays an off-center strike, meaning the die and planchet were misaligned during striking, pushing the design off its normal central position, leaving part of the rim blank and distorting the image of Lincoln and the inscriptions, a feature that further demonstrates the chaos that occurred in that minting moment. These overlapping errors, doubling, cracks, off-center strike, and possible planchet anomaly, all combined in one coin is what makes this particular 2004 D cent truly one of a kind, and such a convergence of mistakes is almost unheard of in modern minting, where precision machinery is supposed to prevent such outcomes. Collectors and experts have described this coin as a perfect storm of minting mishaps, an extraordinary example where multiple independent errors coincided, resulting in a once-in-a-lifetime specimen that tells the story of the minting process itself, the pressure of the dies, the fatigue of machinery, and the human oversight that allowed it to pass inspection. When this coin was first authenticated and graded by a top-tier service like PCGS, it achieved an extraordinarily high grade for an error coin, with the designation highlighting its multiple error types and pristine condition despite its minting anomalies, and once it was publicly auctioned, the excitement among numismatists and investors was electric because such coins represent the intersection between rarity, history, and artistry. The final sale price crossed the $1 million mark, shocking even seasoned experts who never imagined a 2004 D penny could reach such value, yet it did because the combination of dramatic visual appeal, multiple rare errors, and near-perfect condition made it a collector's dream. Another layer of fascination comes from the broader context of 2004 as a minting year. It was one of the later years before the major redesign of the Lincoln cent reverse in 2009, marking the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, so the 2004 D sits in a transitionary period where quality control began facing challenges due to machinery wear and high output, which may explain why such an extreme error escaped detection. Furthermore, 2004 D cents from Denver are known for certain varieties of minor die deterioration, doubling and plating issues, but nothing compares to this unique piece that combines multiple anomalies in one specimen. Many enthusiasts speculate that part of the coin's plating may have been improperly applied, leading to small bubbles or blisters on the surface, known as plating bubbles, where trapped gas between the zinc core and copper coating expands during striking or heating, causing small raised areas that distort the surface. These imperfections not only confirm the minting irregularities but also enhance the coin's authenticity as a genuine product of factory error rather than post-mint damage. Some analysts even suggest that environmental conditions or mechanical vibration during production could have caused micro-shifts in the striking process, producing subtle doubling and distortions visible only under close inspection, yet adding to the cumulative uniqueness that pushed collectors into bidding wars. What's truly fascinating is how this 1 cent captures so many aspects of the minting process gone awry: mechanical failure, die fatigue, planchet inconsistency, and human oversight, all converging in a coin that embodies imperfection turned perfection in the eyes of numismatists. Beyond the technical side, the cultural allure of $1 million penny also plays a role in its high valuation, Stories like this ignite the imagination of collectors and the public alike, leading to increased demand and emotional value, which often drives market prices even higher than the sum of their parts. The sheer fact that an everyday coin, something meant to be spent on candy or coffee, can end up being worth more than luxury cars symbolizes the thrill of numismatics and the endless possibilities hidden in pocket change. As experts studied this coin further, microscopic analysis revealed details such as die polish lines, subtle shifts in relief height, and even partial repunching of the D mint mark, indicating that the die used had been reworked or adjusted during production, which in itself is an exciting clue into the mint's internal processes and the human element behind machine precision. Such findings only deepen the coin's mystery and value because they connect it directly to the story of the Denver Mint and the technological challenges faced in early 2000s minting. Collectors and historians alike love tracing these details because they transform the coin into a historical artifact rather than just a monetary object, making it both scientifically and sentimentally valuable. The 2004 D1 cent that sold for $1 million thus stands as a testament to how rarity, condition, demand, and narrative converge in the numismatic world. And it also inspires ordinary people to start looking more closely at their change. Last 2009 1-cent coin, everyone to another exciting episode where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, and today's story is going to absolutely blow your mind because we're talking about a tiny, everyday coin that turned into a multi-million-dollar treasure, the 2009 Lincoln 1-cent coin. A coin that most people have handled countless times without realizing that a few rare era varieties of it are worth an astonishing $6 million due to the unbelievable minting mistakes, design variations, and hidden details that make it one of the most extraordinary and sought-after modern U.S. coins in history. So grab your magnifying glass, sit tight, and get ready to explore every single aspect of what makes this 2009 1-cent coin so valuable, how it came to exist, and why collectors all over the world go crazy trying to find one. Now, to understand the full story, you have to know that 2009 wasn't just any year for the Lincoln cent. It was the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent series itself, and the U.S. Mint decided to celebrate this historic milestone by issuing 4 different reverse designs to represent different stages of Lincoln's life, known as the birth and early childhood in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, and presidency in Washington, D.C. varieties, and each of these designs had both Philadelphia and Denver mint marks, along with some proofs from San Francisco, creating multiple opportunities for error variations to occur during production, especially given the complexity of striking 4 unique designs in massive quantities under tight deadlines. Billions of these cents were made, yet within that sea of copper-plated zinc, a few coins emerged with minting mistakes so remarkable that they would change the lives of the people who discovered them, because error coins are often the result of unpredictable, 1 in a billion circumstances where machinery misalignment, die wear, planchet mix-ups, or human oversight creates something unintended and irreplicable. And that's exactly what happened with the rare 2009 Lincoln cent that eventually sold for $6 million. The first clue to its extraordinary nature was found in its metal composition, because unlike the regular copper-plated zinc coins of that year weighing 2.5 grams, this one appeared to have been struck on a leftover copper planchet closer to 3.1 grams, similar to the pre-1982 bronze cents, which immediately raised questions about how such a mistake could happen decades after the composition change. And the answer likely lies in the mint's handling of leftover planchets or experimental materials, which occasionally cause these so-called transitional errors, some of the most valuable types of mistakes in the coin world. This compositional anomaly alone made it extremely rare, but what took it to legendary status was the presence of dramatic doubling on both sides of the coin, especially visible on the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2009, as well as doubling on Lincoln's face and the design details of the reverse depending on the particular design type, whether it was the formative years or the presidency design. The doubling was caused by a hub misalignment during die creation, resulting in what's known as a double die obverse or reverse, where the design appears to have a shadow or echo effect, and these are among the most visually striking and collectible errors because they're unmistakable even to the naked eye. To add to this, the coin also exhibited an off-center strike, meaning it wasn't perfectly aligned during the minting process, which caused the rim on one side to appear thicker and the design to shift slightly off balance, something that gives it a distinctive look and further proves that it escaped normal minting precision. Incredibly, microscopic analysis later revealed that this 2009 1 cent had not just one but multiple overlapping errors: a double die, a slightly off-center strike, a die crack extending across the obverse, and even a small die chip lodged near Lincoln's bow tie and beard area, along with light plating bubbles caused by gas trapped between the copper coating and zinc core during the plating process. These imperfections together turned it into a perfect storm of minting mistakes, each one compounding the rarity and desirability of the coin. Collectors love these multi-error specimens because they combine the technical fascination of minting science with the thrill of chance, and in this particular coin's case, all those factors came together in a single example that could never be reproduced. Experts from top grading services such as PCGS and NGC examined the coin and confirmed its authenticity, assigning it an extremely high mint state grade because despite its numerous minting flaws, it remained in near-perfect condition with minimal post-mint wear, a combination that's almost impossible to find in circulation. The moment the coin was certified, it became an instant legend, drawing attention from numismatists, investors, and museums alike, and when it finally went up for auction, fierce bidding drove the price beyond everyone's expectations, finally settling at $6 million, setting a record for one of the highest prices ever paid for a modern US 1 cent coin. But beyond its market value, what really makes this coin fascinating is the story it tells about the minting process itself, the mechanical dance of dies, hubs, and planchets that sometimes goes wrong in the most beautiful way. Imagine the minting press operating at incredible speeds, producing hundreds of coins per minute, and in that moment, one planchet of the wrong metal slips in, one die slightly misaligned, one impression made twice by accident, and before anyone realizes it, $1 million coin is born, indistinguishable from the others until someone with a keen eye notices something unusual decades later. That's the magic of error coins, their accidents frozen in time, physical proof of the unpredictability of mass production. For the 2009 cent, there's also the added layer of historical and emotional significance. It wasn't just any design year, it was Lincoln's bicentennial, and each of the 4 designs carried deep symbolism of his life and legacy, which makes any unique specimen even more meaningful because it connects directly to the story of America's most beloved president and the cent's transformation through history. The formative years, designs showing young Lincoln reading while taking a break from rail splitting, the professional life, showing him in front of the Illinois state capitol, the presidency, showing the half-finished U.S. Capitol dome, all represented crucial chapters in his journey, and finding an error in any of these designs means you're holding a piece of that narrative in an altered, rare form that no one else possesses. The $6 million 2009 penny is thought to have one of the most dramatic visible doublings of any modern coin, with a shadow effect that even novices can spot, and it serves as a reminder to all collectors to always check their change carefully because these treasures often slip by unnoticed. Furthermore, what enhances the mystique of this coin is how few examples are confirmed to exist, possibly only 1 or 2 in private collections, making it not only valuable but nearly mythical in status. Some collectors speculate that others might be out there in coin rolls or unsearched hoards, waiting to be discovered, and that possibility keeps the excitement alive. The combination of rarity, historical timing, minting complexity, and public intrigue makes this coin an irresistible masterpiece in numismatics. There's also the fascinating aspect of how the plating bubbles on this coin give a unique texture under magnification, with tiny raised dots that reflect the imperfection of the plating process that plagued many post-1982 cents, but in this particular case, the way they formed adds distinct character and authenticity. Experts also noticed microscopic die polish lines on the surface, suggesting that the die used for this coin had been reworked or cleaned, possibly altering the fine details that contributed to its doubling and die crack formation, proving how subtle human interventions at the mint can accidentally create valuable outcomes. Some enthusiasts have even theorized that this coin may have been part of an experimental batch or test strike, though there's no official record to confirm that, which only adds to its mystique. Regardless of its precise origin, the fact remains that it embodies everything collectors dream of: rarity, beauty, historical context, and a compelling backstory. And because it's from a modern year, it bridges the gap between old-school collectors and new-generation hobbyists, showing that you don't have to be searching centuries-old coins to find immense value. The 2009 cents fame also revitalized interest in checking penny rolls from banks, pocket change, and even old jars lying forgotten in homes, as people began to realize that treasures like these could be hiding in plain sight. This sparked a wave of treasure hunting enthusiasm across the country, with collectors trading tips on online forums and showing off finds with minor doubling or striking variations.